Hello, I'm Dr. Leon Stutzman, aka Doc, with another one of these little videos designed to help you to get through these strange days in which we find ourselves, and these yet remain strange days indeed. I'm talking this week about collecting your thoughts and sharing some thoughts that I've collected. You need to collect your thoughts on your place in the universe. If you've read anything about chaos theory postulates that the things that we see as chaotic around about us are actually part of an implicate order, an order that is far larger than anything that can be grasped by the finite mind. That's just another way of saying God's got a plan. You may not always understand the plan of God. You may not always understand your place in the plan of God, but God has a plan. And if you'll endeavor to walk out the plan of God for your life, amazing things will happen. Who would have thought? Oh, say 48 years ago, who would have thought that my wife and I would have ended up in the great state of Ohio? That was not in our plans. Our plans were to reside in Texas, travel in Oklahoma and Arkansas and Texas, doing revival meetings. We weren't planning on pastoring churches. We weren't planning on planting churches, but there was a series of coincidences, you might say, but they were divinely orchestrated coincidences that eventually led us to a revival in Fremont, Ohio. And out of that revival in Fremont, Ohio, we became evangelists to the state of Ohio. We traveled across Ohio and Indiana preaching revivals. And then when it came time to plant a church, the first thing that was on our mind was Lima, Ohio. And that's how we got to this great state. It was chaos theory in perfection. It was a bunch of incidental things that just meshed together to bring us to divine destiny. I'm talking to someone right now. It looks like random events are happening in your life. If you'll begin to pull those random events together, you will find your place in the universe, and you have a place in the universe. Understand the order of things. Understand your place in the universe. Collect your thoughts on your relationships with others. Everyone needs relationships. Ecclesiastes, the 4th chapter, the 9th verse, said, 2 are better than 1 because they have good reward for their labor. We need relationships. In fact, in the original creation story, man was left alone and needed relationship. And so God created relationship. God created us to live in relationship with each other. A relationship, by definition, I want you to catch this, a relationship by definition is mutually beneficial. You put something into a relationship, you draw something out of a relationship. Or as I said, as I shared this message with our congregation, I take out the garbage, my wife makes sure I have a sock drawer full of socks. That's a mutually beneficial relationship. And all relationships ought to be mutually beneficial relationships, understanding that relationships evolved. Jacob and Laban, great example in the scripture, Genesis 31 verse 5, where Jacob is saying to his wives, I see your father's countenance that is not toward me as it was before, but the God of my fathers has been with me. He had had a relationship with Laban. It was a rather tenuous relationship, a rocky relationship, and then suddenly it changed to an adversarial relationship, and Jacob knew that it was time to move. Relationships evolve. Speaking of evolving relationships, when he asked his wives what they wanted to do, they said, we're going with you. Why? Because they had spent enough time together that the relationship evolved into a love relationship, and they went with their husband on the way. Relationships evolve. Lasting relationships are profitable relationships. Remember that. Now, here's another area in which you need to collect your thoughts, and I'll pick up on this on Friday. What does prosperity mean to you? Because prosperity means different things to different people. Now, I am a preacher of prosperity, but understand, if you listen to what I actually teach, prosperity is not about dollars and cents. Dollars and cents manifest when you have a prosperous mindset. When you recognize that abundance is the order of the universe and live with the expectation that that abundance is going to manifest in your life. That's what it really means to be prosperous. The word rich means having an abundance of all and a lack of nothing. And based on that, you can be rich even if you don't have a lot of dollars in your bank account, even if you're not making a lot of money on your job. I said to a lady years ago who was working a minimum wage job in the daycare industry, I said, how is it, first of all, you're a faithful tither. Secondly, this is back in the days when I put out $100 envelopes once a month. Every time I put out an envelope, you always take an envelope and sow $100 seed. How is it you can afford to do that? You always look good. You have everything that you need. How is it? I know you're living on a limited income. How are you doing that? And she said to me, I don't know. It's just like whenever I have a need, the supply is there. She said, so I just keep tithing and I keep giving, and if I have a need, the supply is there. And she lived an abundant life. She eventually became our daycare director and made a very, very, very good salary. She discovered the secret of prosperity. I'll talk more about it on Friday, this Sunday at Aspire Church. Remember your future. It's going to be powerful stuff. I'm Dr. Leon Stutzman, a.k.a. Doc. I'll see you then.